it here, didn't you? Every step was agony. Every breath felt like it could be your last, and yet you kept moving forward. Not because you wanted to, no. There were plenty of moments you wanted to stop, but because you had no choice. Because giving up wasn't an option. You crawled, you climbed, you clawed your way to this point. And now you're standing at the edge, looking down at the world that doubted you. But let me tell you something. That climb, it wasn't for them. It was for you. You came for strength. You came for purpose. But let me remind you of the truth you've known all along. Nobody was rooting for you. Nobody cared if you made it or not. They were too busy judging you, laughing at your struggle. To them, you were a joke, a nobody, someone destined to fail. And when you tried to rise, to prove them wrong, what did they do? They pushed you down further. They whispered behind your back. They doubted every move you made. And when you stumbled, they cheered. Not because they hated you, but because they feared you. You see, people don't destroy what they don't see as a threat. They don't mock what they don't envy. They saw the fire in you. They saw what you could become, and that terrified them. So they did everything they could to keep you small, to keep you contained. They wanted you to stay quiet, to stay humble, to stay weak. But deep down, they knew you were different. That one day, you'd rise above them. They called you names, said you weren't good enough, said you didn't have what it takes. They wanted to see you break. They wanted to see you fail. Because your failure would make them feel better about their own. But here's the truth they don't want to admit. They wanted a monster. They pushed you, poked you, provoked you. Not because they thought you'd fight back, but because they didn't think you had it in you. They wanted to see how far you could be pushed before you shattered, before you gave up. But you didn't, did you, number? You took every hit, every insult, every rejection, and you turned it into fuel. They thought they were breaking you, but all they did was make you stronger. And now, they don't know what to do with you. You're not the same person you were when this journey began. You've changed. You've grown. You've become something they can't understand. Something they can't control. You've become a force of nature. Something relentless. Something unstoppable. They wanted a monster. Then let them have it. Show them what happens when you take all the pain, all the anger, and turn it into power. Show them what happens when you refuse to be broken. You see, monsters aren't born. They're made. Made by betrayal. Made by disappointment. Made by the lies and the heartbreak and the scars. Every wound, every setback, every failure, they all built you. Piece by piece, they shaped you into what you are today. And now, standing here, looking back at everything you've overcome, you realize something. You don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You climbed this mountain for you, not for them. So what if they call you a monster? So what if they fear you? Let them. Because monsters don't care what people think. Monsters don't beg for acceptance. Monsters do what they need to do to survive, to thrive. And that's exactly what you've done. They thought you'd crumble under the pressure, that you'd fall apart like they did. But you didn't. You rose. And now they're watching from below, trying to figure out how you did it. But they'll never understand, because they weren't there. They didn't see the sleepless nights, the tears, the sacrifices. They only see the result, and that's what scares them. They wanted you weak, because weakness is predictable. Weakness is controllable. But you You're not weak anymore. You've become something they can't predict, something they can't control, and that terrifies them. So let them talk, let them judge, let them fear, because you're not climbing this mountain for them. You're climbing it for you. And when you reach the top, when you finally see what's on the other side, you'll realize something. It was never about proving them wrong. It was about proving yourself right. They wanted a monster. Well, now they've got one, and there's no going back.